Welcome to the Nearly Enlightened podcast, a high vibe toolbox designed to help you connect to your body, mind, and spirit. I'm your host, Giana and Dee, and I'm here to share tools, conversations, and insights to help you on your journey of self-discovery. This podcast is all about exploring what it means to live a conscious, connected, and nearly enlightened life. Because the truth is, the answers aren't outside of us, they're already within. Let's dive in. Dee, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Dee is joining me today. So we just wrapped up, almost 2 weeks ago now, we wrapped up our 30-day Deepen Your Practice challenge. And we've kind of had time to integrate. And now we're on the other side and we have tons of news to share.
We certainly do.
First, I just want to say, so for any of you who watched my social media earlier, I am trying out the Carnivore Aurelius coffee, and this is a huge deal for me, actually.
It is huge for you.
I cannot handle caffeine. I think I'm already a naturally high energy person. So when you just add caffeine to me, it's just I'm off the wall. But after finishing, that was a pretty big cup. I think there was almost 2 cups in there. And so now I've finished the coffee. I feel steady energy. And I don't know if it's because I added the collagen to it. So it had a little bit of substance, but I don't have that jittery feeling. And maybe it's just maybe it hasn't hit me yet. But usually by now it would already have started to affect me. I'm happy to report that my palms are dry.
Report back to me how you sleep tonight.
I know I will. So no sweaty palms. I don't feel jittery. I don't feel anxious. My heart's not fluttering. And maybe it just hasn't fully hit yet, but I also had it on an empty stomach. So when I do that, usually it just it hits me hard. But yeah, so right now I feel good. I feel steady energy. And I actually love the smell of coffee and love the taste of it. So I'm kind of excited if this works for me.
I'm excited to hear. And yeah. I think it is a good idea to put collagen in it though, especially because I hope you had some water in your belly before you okay. Good.
Yes.
As a gut health person, I'm going to tell you, I hope you had water first.
Yes. This morning I drank probably close to 30 ounces before that. So I'm I don't know if I'm well hydrated because I sweat I had 2 back-to-back classes this morning. So
yeah,
it's hot here finally.
And then also just share, I loved because I asked you where he gets the beans from. And you said, I think that's important to share.
Yeah, I think it's Costa Rica. I'm not 100% sure.
I would assume.
Honestly, I just want him to come on the podcast so bad. And he's very against podcasts, but I want to have him on so bad because I watched his social media over the last couple of months and he's been at the farms and they're small family owned farms. It's fair trade. It's organic. It's tested for mycotoxins and heavy metals. It's honestly one of the best on the market best coffees on the market that you can get. And his collagen is also I fully stand by his collagen. And I never wanted to be an affiliate for anyone unless I was really used their product, backed their product. And I've been using his collagen for over a year now. I think over a year. Whenever he launched it is when I started it. And I noticed a difference right away. And a lot of it wasn't necessarily a physical feeling, but my lips were plumper. I was just
you have great hair.
Yes, thank you. And so I really love his collagen. It's tasteless. It dissolves really well.
And he's actually I follow him as well. And I feel the way he also promotes a lot of his products too is he's very conscious. And I know the collagen is from grass finished or grass fed
and finished. Yep.
Cattle.
It's glyphosate free, which is huge. That is huge.
Because
so it's really
a lot of the collagens on the market don't even think about those things, or people who consume them won't even think about that being even a thing. And I think even too, if the coffee beans are from Central America, as you said, like if they are from Costa Rica, like we were just talking about, I can tell you from experience, because I've spent a lot of time in Costa Rica, the ticos are very, very, very environmentally conscious. Like from a very young age, they have such incredible environmental education, and the farming there. Like I've been to coffee farms there. Like I can back up what you're sharing right now from actual experience. And then living where I do live, we have tons of coffee farms around here. Unfortunately, are they as environmentally conscious as Costa Ricans? I will tell you, I don't think so. Are there coffee farms here that exist in Panama that are organic? Yes, but I feel like Costa Rica, just as a population as a whole, I would have my own personal opinion to say that I would
Yeah.
trust that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love that he tests for heavy metals in his collagen, and it's one of the lowest that you can find on the market.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important to me. And like knowing what I know about cacao, which is very similar to coffee, it's a plant that helps to like clean and cleanse the soil. So like your fruit is going to take on whatever is in the soil. So I think that
any produce,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to like know these things and to start talking about them. So I'm super excited about it. If I find a coffee that I can drink, like I don't think I'd ever be to the point where I'm like addicted to coffee and like I can't wake up without it, because like I've just never really been that person.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like in high school I probably drank over 32 ounces of coffee a day. It was like kind of insane.
Oh, honey, I was like, give me a dunks. I was like, I will have an extra large French vanilla with extra. Like the things that I
Yes,
used to
same.
consume, I am so, if I could talk to my younger self.
I know, same. But it was like it was these things that we were just conditioned to like accept, and like this is the way society is. And like I mean, coffee has, because I'm Italian, like coffee has always been, it's like part of the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we started drinking coffee like kind of young. It was like, oh yeah, take a sip of the espresso. Like my grandmother used to literally make us cappuccinos. We were so little. But that was just like, I know it's funny, but it was like the way we got our milk. Like I don't think I drank milk. I don't think I drank milk unless it was
You
in
didn't
something
have
like that. It was
chocolate milk, you
steamed.
just had cappuccino.
I
Oh my
had
gosh, that's
steamed
so
milk
good.
over an espresso.
Oh my God, that's too good. I love that.
But it was like it is part of the culture. So when I couldn't drink coffee anymore, I was like kind of very sad about it. So this is exciting stuff. But I don't think I would be like, I don't agree like you should start your day off with a stimulant right away. But there are so many studies about coffee being, I mean, it's full of antioxidants. Like if you're buying good quality coffee, it actually isn't bad for you.
No, I don't. I agree with you. I think it just gets abused, and
Yes, just like
that's like
we love
I
to
feel
do
like
here
with
in the States. We
yeah,
like to
and
take everything and take it to
in
the extreme.
excess. Yeah. And I think even like just with anything, and this is like opening a can of worms, we don't really need to go there, but with anything really, like especially supplements and stuff, I think at this day and age, like you just have to be careful, and you have to like it's an incredible the fact to know where it's actually sourced from and to be able to trust that, I think is huge. And
Huge.
I think he does a really good job promoting himself and promoting, why it's good for you, where it comes from, and to be able to that's a small business, and to be able to support something like that, and the fact you're an affiliate to something like that and to share with people is important.
It is. And like I believe that we vote with our dollars every single day. And that's why it's important to me to buy the best produce, to support the brands that are out here doing the work. So like
And the
we
local
have
people
more of that.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and especially like
absolutely.
that's one thing I really miss about being in New England is like, summer and fall, like the harvest and supporting CSAs and all that kind of stuff. And I think, where I am and what I do, like we just tried to run an event yesterday where people come out to the farm where I'm managing a greenhouse and they pick their own produce, because CSA doesn't really exist here, where I am at least. And it's to be able to put a face to what is what you're consuming, or well, in his case, you can't really put a face to it, but like
We
to be
can put
able
an
to,
Instagram account.
yeah, to be able to like meet the farmer or to know where things come from, I think is huge, especially as a mom or just, or someone who's health conscious. I think it's really important at this day and age that people jump on that train, and I will scream that from the mountaintops.
Same,
That's
because it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. And like you said, being in New England, I'm really blessed. I have a bunch of cattle farms around, and it's really easy to get local meat here. And that is such a blessing. And it was something that I didn't take for granted when I was living in Arizona. I like fully knew what I had when I was living there. And I loved it because we had multiple growing seasons. Like everyone thinks the desert, it's like dry and barren, but that's very far from what it is. And same thing, we had a lot of farms around us. They actually have like butcher shops there, which I think are few and far between now. Like everyone just thinks we get our meat from the supermarket. But going back to that, like, oh no, I go to the supermarket or the farmer's market for my produce, and then I literally go to the butcher shop for my meat. Like I loved that. Like
mm-hmm.
the butcher shop that was near me in Arizona, it was a whole animal butcher shop. So they would get the whole entire animal in and they
Nose
would
to tail.
nose to tail and they would process every single thing themselves, but they also cut down on their waste because they would make things like stocks and broths and sausages and like very little goes to waste. And I think that that's important because when you do talk about it from the supermarket standpoint, there's a lot of waste there. A lot of that animal is getting tossed.
It's interesting to hear you say that because where I am in Panama, when I go to the supermarket, they have cow tongue, heart, liver, chicken feet, anything. You can find cow stomach there. You can find nose to tail in the supermarkets here because it's part of the culture. They don't waste. Because out in the countryside, like here, we see that. Was it weird for me at first? Oh yeah. But like you can go there, and I know people who go there to ask for bones for their dogs
Yeah.
or whatever, and that's it, so they really waste nothing. Or like here out where we live rurally, there's people that grow or not grow, but raise, pork, pigs, and cows, and they'll, call Edgardo and say, hey, like I'm going to be sacrificing on this date. How many pounds do you want? Whatever. And so like it's also communal, which is really beautiful, and that's something from where we sit, where we live, I'm so grateful for. I don't eat a lot of the things, but the fact that it's here it's just interesting to see the difference
And
of how
it goes to say about energy and intention when you are eating something that is like local. Like I love, like obviously not sponsored by them or anything, but I love around here we have this company called Pat's Pasture, and the animals never leave their farm. Like they do everything from raise to process to packaging right
mm-hmm.
on site. I mean, that's fairly new to them. They got their USDA cert, like I think like last year or the year before. Um, but you can taste the intention in their food. Like it tastes different
It
because it's
really
not
does.
touching a million different hands. It's not going somewhere to be slaughtered. And then from there, it's being shipped to get processed. And then from there, it's shipped to be getting packaged. And then from there, it's going back to the farm. It's like everything is done
Mm-hmm.
within a couple mile radius. And the intention is different. The taste is different. It even looks different.
Yeah, no, that's so true. It's when you sit down at the table and you think about how many hands and how many wheels, how many miles
Miles,
took
sometimes flights,
I was just gonna say sometimes
planes,
planes it
trains,
takes
automobiles.
to get to your plate. It's like it's if you have the ability to like sit down and actually know one person's name, that's huge.
Huge. And it
One
makes
person.
a difference to local business. I mean, we in America, it's like a huge problem. We have sold a lot of our farmland to other countries, and that
It's
is scary. That's scary. Like Smithfield, which is a big pork company, was bought
Mm-hmm.
out by China a couple years ago. So we're
Oh.
not even keeping, I mean, yeah, Smithfield's huge. You can probably find it in every grocery store in America, but they're huge factory farms and
Mm-hmm.
the quality isn't there. Like a lot of those pigs don't ever leave a warehouse. Like they're literally living inside of a warehouse on top of each other. Like what is that quality of life? What intention
Mm-hmm.
does that, it
It's
makes a
not.
difference.
Yeah, it does. It
So
does. And that's the energy you're eating.
yes, one of the like docu-series that changed my life was Cooked by Michael Pollan, and it was based on
I
one of his
love
books.
him.
Love him.
I wrote a paper on him for a certification I did. His book, The Omnivore's
Omnivores. Yeah.
Dilemma, is like
Mhm.
one of my favorite books.
Yeah. So Cooked came a couple years after, but if
Mm.
anyone has time, I think it's still on Netflix. It's a 4-part series, and it was so eye-opening to me. And one of the things that he opens with is like, we're losing what set us apart from primates. Like what set us apart from primates was we discovered fire, we discovered how to cook our food, and then that like literally changed our digestion, our gut microbiome.
Hmm.
It changed our teeth, our jaw shape. Um, but we have forgotten that because in the 50s we had this push of like canned food, TV dinners, like very
Convenience. That's
processed
when,
convenience. Yes.
and it was sold to the moms. That's the
Yes.
thing. It was sold to the moms, and then because the moms started working outside of the house, and everything was based on convenience. There wasn't even a supermarket. Like you were just saying, you would go to the butcher, you would go to the produce farmers market. I don't even think, oh God, I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but supermarkets weren't really a big thing until like the 40s or 50s.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were small,
I'm
like
pretty
corner
certain.
stores.
Yeah, it was where
My
you got like salt. It
yeah,
wasn't a thing.
my
And
great
it,
grandfather was a butcher. And he had, like actually died pretty young because he didn't take care of his diabetes because he was an Italian and couldn't eat anything but pasta. So he kind of did it to himself, but he was a butcher. And like I remember my grandmother talking all the time, like they lived outside of Providence in the suburbs, but they were still like in Providence. But he basically had a full farm on his property, like in the middle of the city.
well, that's the thing. You would go to your local farm and you would find it was also too like a communal thing. We were so much more communal. And now everything has become convenience based and fast paced, and no one, let's all just slow down. Can we slow down? Even too like Ayurveda. So let's connect this to like a little bit of the yoga. Like I know when I was looking into Ayurveda and stuff, I this is like ingrained into my head is like low and cook slow.
With lots of spices and herbs to aid in digestion. And it connected me. So when I was learning a little bit about Ayurveda, it was eye opening for me because I feel like every culture kind of has this, but we've lost it. And
Mm-hmm.
like the funny joke on the internet is like white people don't use spices or like they don't use a lot of flavors. And I think
Flavor.
that's so funny because obviously like I grew up very Italian. My dad's from Italy. His whole family was right from Italy. So my grandparents were very, very Italian. So that was never a thing for me. Like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize that, especially because I grew up in such an Italian little
Mm-hmm.
space in New England that like I just thought the way we were eating was like normal until I started like going out in the world and like meeting more people and like finding more diversity. And I was like, oh, this isn't a thing everywhere. Like, so when I was connecting it to Ayurveda, I was like, oh, like Italians use spices like this in a very similar way. Like I was saying the other day, we put bay leaf in like Italians put bay
Every
leaf in like everything when they're cooking beans, like anything.
raw
My
stock.
my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
used to say it like takes the gas out.
No, it does. It's the real. It. I do that too, and everyone here thinks I'm crazy because here we eat rice and beans
Every day.
every day.
Yeah.
So I have like all the tricks, and I will tell you, it is the truth.
It
Baking soda or bay leaf.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
Bay leaf went in like you said, every soup and stock. And then like lentil soup is a big thing in Italian culture, especially like it was kind of like the poor people food. Um, and like bay leaf goes in there because that's what takes the gas out. And it's funny if you cook it with and without, like if you cook the one without, you do notice the difference and not taste wise, but it is gassier.
Yeah, and there's ways to prepare things that take time. Like even if we're going to continue this bean talk, like if I'm cooking them and I know I'm going to cook them for the next day, like I leave them in water the night before with sprinkled with a little bit of baking soda because that helps you with the digestion and the cooking. It's like there's a method to the madness, and I think we've just forgotten the method. All we care about is now.
Convenience.
And so I think we just need to slow down.
Slow down. Yeah. And prepare things intentionally. And I think that is like bringing it back to our challenge. I think that was like, it was not a lot of work for us, but posting every day was like kind of, that was like a big deal for me
Oh yeah,
because
no, me too. Because I usually take very like if I post something, if you follow me on my personal page, like I am very intentional. I don't post a lot there.
me
But it
either.
has to be something. And so like to be able to pump a post out every day with with the caption and like have thought and be in the challenge with the participants, we weren't just hosting this, we were also living this experience with as a part of hosting it too. And it was definitely a challenge for me in letting go of like, oh my gosh, you can see my belly rolls in this video, or like,
We talked about that a lot. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we are human, and this is the experience we're having. And like, that's one of the reasons too. I feel like when you Google search yoga, you're going to see a white girl in Lululemon pants and a sports bra. And I think part of the reason why, one of the main reasons we did this challenge is to honor the roots of the practice and to share with people ways they can actually involve what those concepts are into their everyday life. And so to be able to post all of that was like,
it was an audacious goal, but we did it.
did it. And it was fun.
It was fun. And honestly, like I know I'm coming off of an episode where I was like a negative Nancy and just like basically crying about it being my birthday soon. And by the time this comes out, it will have already passed. But I think it was a great way to wrap up 33 because it forced me to be present. I mean, it's funny posting every day and like going through those concepts every day. Even though we slowed down, May flew by like from beginning to
Really
end, and
did.
we're already in mid-June. I was like, holy shit, like how did this happen? But it was a great reflection period for me, a great like recalibration. And I've heard from so many people, so many of my students, and then also like fellow yoga teachers who
Mm-hmm.
just like couldn't believe what an amazing 30 days it was. Like everyone kept saying, "Oh my God, I was like looking forward to the emails every day. Like I couldn't wait to go into my inbox and read." And I mean, there were yoga teachers who have 500 hours of yoga teacher training, have been teaching for multiple years. And they were like, some of the things that you talked about, I've never even heard of before. Like, I love that you're bringing this to the forefront. And it was really inspiring to me because I helped formulate all of those emails, and um it was
Amazing
really
job.
seamless to bring that into my classes, and we talked about some of those concepts in my classes, which is like hot power yoga. So it's like a fitness workout. So you wouldn't think that you would bring those discussions there, but they ended up being such powerful classes and really shaped the way that I showed up in May. And that was
Mm-hmm.
exciting for me because my classes they felt different because I was talking about the true essence of the practice. And I think like we've said on this podcast, at some point, if we're not acknowledging these concepts, like now we're just like kind of appropriating culture.
Yeah, and I think that makes me feel squirmy because that's
Yeah.
not definitely that's like definitely not what I would ever want to be emitting into my class or even my character as a person.
Same.
I feel like being able to know these concepts, and like for me, I don't have a lot of I do more private teaching, and so it was an even more intimate thing, you know, in that way, where I could actually have one-on-one discussions with people, which was really, really interesting. But I think, you know, bringing all of these concepts back into the forefront of my mind, aside from being a teacher, just being a human and walking this earth and living those and being, you know, embodying what actually I'm teaching and what yoga is into our everyday lives. And to be able to share that, it's like, it's just an honor to be able to share it. And I think that that's like, when you do get your certification and your training, like, that's what I wish for. I wish for people to do the same.
Yes, and you just hit the nail on the head there with the word embodied. It's it's
Yes.
um it's so easy to get caught up in the asana and like think that this is it and maybe like a little bit of breath just because we're vinyasaing all over the place.
Yes. We're slamming sun salutations down your throat and onto your mat, and there's not much more to it.
And I love that this challenge really highlighted like, great, the asana isn't for you, but these are all the ways that you can practice yoga. So I am happy to report that we are keeping the challenge live. So it is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a $27.99 commitment or investment. And you get the 30-day journey at your own pace. So every day it'll come right to your inbox. You don't have to post anything on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But now, yeah, it lives there and you can take yourself through the 30 days to deepen your practice. And it's great for anyone who is a beginner. It's great for anyone who has been practicing for a while, teachers, people who are just curious about yoga. It's really for everybody. And I know like every business mentor is probably cringing and being like, you have to get your audience, your demographic. But like, seriously, if you are just curious about anything spiritual or wanting to connect with yourself, this is for you.
Totally. It's definitely, and that's part of what, you know, I think yoga is the self-study, which we talked about a lot and we
Yes.
even tapped into in during the challenge. And I think that's important. I think, yeah, I think it's just it would be a huge reflection for you and
Yeah.
things to think about.
So it's funny. This actually brings me, I'm so um glad you just said that because I've been wanting to talk about this. This is a little bit of pop culture, but hold on, let me just bring
Ooh, I love it. I might not know it.
no, this is going to be very niche.
Okay. If it doesn't have to do with Bad Bunny, then I will not know.
Um so this is funny. If you are in the Bravo universe, you'll know what I'm about to say. But Bethany Frankel was just on um she did Sports Illustrated swimsuit runway and Joy Bayer ripped her to shreds. Basically, I don't know. She said something about like her boobs being saggy or something, or like something about her fake boobs. And so now these are two women who are roughly around the same age. They're like probably in their 50s, maybe even 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to give it to Bethany because like she went out there, she fucking killed it. She rocked it. I think she really showed like we can I mean, yes, she's had a lot of work done, but like also we can age in this healthy way. We can be sexy still. And to see another woman tear her down, like I was just like so disgusted by it. But Bethany's response to her was like, I think it's like what kind of like what we're talking about. Let me see if I can find it.
For me. Yeah. I think too, like I'll just quickly say while you look for this. I think one thing too for me, it wasn't a challenge. I think it was just something that really I was so grateful for working with you on this as like two women in this um industry in the West. I feel like sometimes there can be competition or, you know, one upping. And I have never felt that working with you. It always felt like just even just the participants too. I really feel like it was such a beautiful community of lifting each other up. And I think that that is also a part of yoga.
Yes, I totally agree. So let me see.
When did this runway thing happen?
This happened within like the last like week or so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is according to People magazine. So it's funny that I'm using them as a source, but here we go. So on Sunday, June 8th, the Real Housewives of New York City alum, who is 54, took to TikTok to discuss Joy Bayer's comments about her appearance on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit runway during Miami Swim Week. Joy Bayer took a jab at her on The View. Whoopi Goldberg mentioned that she was on or like involved in this show, saying that none of us looked the way that they did 2 hours prior. So they were basically just like talking nonsense. So it's kind of like what we were experiencing about showing up. And like I've talked a lot about this, about not using filters and like I've talked about it with Kat a bunch, like just aging naturally. Like Botox is not something I'm going to be injecting in my face, and like I'm just going to allow myself to age gracefully. And it's so Joy took a swipe at her and said like about her fake boobs, and she was saying like I don't know something. Oh, she said that her boobs were fake and like saggy or something like that. And then Frankel just went on to say like, yeah. So this is the direct quote from her. She said, "Women my age and older, women of any certain age, can live their lives freely with happiness and joy, and that we're not washed up, miserable older women." She continued, "I actually feel sorry for Joy that she hasn't lived her life or doesn't seem to be living her life with any joy. You have to be really miserable to take a swipe at something that is literally self-deprecating and literally leveling the playing field, saying, yeah, we all look like this, but we had a lot of work that day." So I guess they were like making fun of them for like, I don't know, having their makeup done and like whatever. It's not like what normal women do.
Mm-hmm.
She had to kick somebody when they were already saying that they're down. Frankel concluded by saying, sadly, Joy is painting a picture of the older, seemingly miserable, washed up women that all of us are trying to show that we aren't. And it's like, your life doesn't have to end. And I just thought that this was like, it was a really good, she had a really good response to Joy Bear. And like, I have a hate relationship with The View. I think it's like absolutely toxic. I don't know how the fuck it is still on air.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is like part of what we were talking about. It's like part of what we all experience. And I have to give it to her to be like 54, to love your body, to show up and just like strut your stuff. Like, I feel like it is just, it's showing up. It's like, it's being a powerful woman. And like, I felt really empowered by this Bravo star.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to talk about this. So I'm like glad that it kind of seamlessly came up. She was like in um like a one piece leopard print bikini, and like I thought she was killing it. So it's funny that like women of her age were so quick to tear her down from behind their desks, and
Yeah.
I think it should have been celebrated more.
Yeah. I think ageism, is that the right word? Is like, I think obviously I think it's scarier as a woman or for women because it's like there's this like need to stay young or whatever, but like I know women who have transitioned naturally and beautifully into this incredible crone persona. Like you're wise. Like once you pass, you know, your menopause or this, that, and the other thing, and you become this like wise woman. Like, why are we trying to run from that? Whether you get Botox or not, that's your own, that is your own thing. You know what I mean? Like, why is it difficult for us to honor like the ages as we go. You know,
Yeah.
a
I
lot of
don't,
my friends here are old, are like 60 and up. And they're some of the most incredible people that I've ever met.
yeah. So I think, I don't know, it should be celebrated. Like you're going to step out of your comfort zone like that. Like I'm sure that wasn't comfortable for her. Like, yeah, she had professional makeup artists and all of these people that were like working on her. And uh, I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting piece of pop culture that came across my desk this morning. And I was just like actually proud of the response for her to be like, I'm unapologetic about this. Like, yeah, I had my boobs lifted 20 years ago and I'm like not going to apologize for that. But like, let's celebrate that this woman
Mm-hmm.
who is 54, like loves on her body, takes care of her body, works out, eats right,
Mm-hmm.
and is strutting her stuff on the Miami Swim Week fashion show. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's fucking awesome. It's something to celebrate. Cancel the
Yeah.
view. Cancel the view.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but anyway, so another little announcement about our challenge. So something that was born out of the challenge was this need to like continue further. So without further ado, um, we will be launching a 12-week mentorship program based on the Deepen Your Practice challenge.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. So that will be launching in September.
Yeah, so stay tuned, and there's a link for you to sign up um on the to be on the waiting list. We're still plugging out details, of course, but we're, save the date, keep on listening. It's going to be a 12-week program. It's going to be, should I talk a little bit about it really
Yeah,
quick?
sure. Go ahead.
All right. So it's going to be for the yoga teacher ready to rise into leadership, or for a soul seeker longing to deepen their practice off of the mat, or just for anyone, like we were saying with the challenge and yoga in general, craving real integration of this sacred practice into your everyday life. It's going to be rooted in 8 limbs of yoga and nourished by modern wellness, ritual, self-inquiry, and community. So whether you're guiding others or guiding yourself, this is an invitation to ground your practice, expand your voice, and remember who you are. And then I'll just read a little bit more about some of the details, just to give you a little bit of insight. So he said it's going to be 12 weeks. We're going to have weekly live group calls. So in 60-minute live sessions every week, we'll have optional biweekly movement and meditation circles, 2-to-1 support. So you're going to be able to have check-ins with me and Giana together as we flow through this a few times, and then also have additional chances to have more 2-on-1s with us if that's something that's interesting to you. We'll provide tons of resources, reflection prompts, meditations, ritual guides, recipes, et cetera, and then of course a community of people who join into this mentorship program. So I am so excited.
I am so excited too. And I think like in the student space and also the teacher space, this is really necessary because I think like in a modern yoga class, we are only touching on these few things. And I have definitely noticed a shift like post COVID in the yoga world where like, classes used to be 90 minutes, now they're 60 minutes. And we've like watered down the practice. I've talked about this a lot. So I think this is a great way for teachers to refresh. And even, I was talking to a lot of teachers who participated in the Deepen Your Practice challenge, and they were like, I've been through multiple teacher trainings and I haven't talked about some of these concepts before, some of these practices that literally come right from like we took everything right from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras.
Sutras. Mm-hmm.
So it's like not something that we were making up. We like systemically, strategically took everything and like made it step by step and how it was supposed to be practiced, like through that ancient text.
Yeah.
And like I was just so surprised at how many teachers came to me and said, I never knew that before.
Well, even too, just as like a teacher, a training teacher, like, that's a whole nother
A whole nother can of
can of
worms.
worms. But I think, yeah, so this mentorship, it would be incredible to have both teachers and students together and to get insight from both sides. Not even both sides, as collectively, like what, I think that would be I think it's going to be such a beautiful container to hold and to support and to host. I think I've never seen something like this before. I think it's new. I think it's different. It's called the Embodied Yogi. That's what we're calling it. So if you feel called to learn more, reach out to either Giana or to me. Please keep an eye out. Sign up for the wait list through your email. We'll slowly start trickling in some emails. We'll probably start talking about it in a few weeks on social media as well. So, keep us posted with any questions you might have. But we're both, really excited to begin this because I think
Yes.
it's
And I won't speak for you, but I know like something like this would have benefited me so greatly coming out of a yoga teacher training because when you do a 200-hour, we've talked about this before on this podcast, like
thrown to the wolves.
you're thrown to the wolves. You learn a lot during a 200-hour, like your brain is literally mashed potatoes by the time you're done.
Mm-hmm. It's like
Because
drinking from a fire hydrant. And then it's like, okay, go teach. You practice once probably teaching your group that you're in training with, and then you just are, thrown to the world. And so I think you're right. Like being able to have something like this, whether it's been a year, a couple years, or even 10 years, and you want to just get a refresh, like I think that this would take your practice as a teacher to the next level. And if you're a student, it will also take your practice to the next level. I think that it's an awesome opportunity, and I would just be so grateful and honored to guide whoever comes in to this program.
yes, I'm so excited. I feel like this offering came from
Mm-hmm.
my past self. Like this is what my past self would have needed or wanted. And I'm
Totally.
so glad that we're putting this offer out into the world because um
Me too. I
I
think it's
I would like to see the yoga community step up as a whole. Like let's stop appropriating. It's not a fitness class. It's not something that you learn at the gym. This is like a lifestyle. It is a way of life. I mean, I talk about this too, like the yoga, everyone's looking for a guidebook to life. Everyone's looking for direction and looking at themselves deeper, like wanting to better themselves. Like, okay, you want to do that, drop all of the self-help books that you have, all the
and live
self-help.
it.
Yes, live it. And like the Yoga Sutras, literally, it is the way.
It is the way. And I will say this, we don't need to go into details because honestly, they're not important and they will come later. But I know I can speak for both of us, and I'll just leave it at that, where you and I both showed up for this, not just as hosts, but as ourselves and for ourselves individually, for each other, but also individually. And we both have had so many blessings and synchronicities and things happen for us because we showed up every single day being an embodied yogi.
Yes. And it's funny because we kept saying, like, this. Oh, we realized, like, less than halfway through the challenge, we were like, oh, this was for us. We had almost 50 people signed up, but this is for us.
Yeah. So you can be this, like, quote unquote, advanced teacher, but if you're not bringing it back to the simple, actual, like, text and ancient practices, I'm gonna have a
What are
bone
you
to pick.
doing?
I'm gonna have a bone to pick with you.
Yeah. What are you even doing?
Yeah. So I think it definitely challenged me in ways that I didn't even know I was going to be challenged. That I'm so grateful for, and it brought blessings with that. And
Same.
I think we've spoken to enough people where I know that that's also the case, and that makes me feel really good and warms my heart. So
Same. And it's like why Nearly Enlightened was born. And it's the work that I know that I was here to do. So just to be able to be an embodied teacher myself and to step into this practice in a more meaningful way and really be reminded. It brought it back to the forefront of my teaching. And I think like in the last month, like people have definitely like noticed a shift in my classes and in the conversations that were happening in my classes. And I was just so blessed, humbled, blown away by how many people in the studios that I teach at were talking about the
Mm-hmm.
email journey and like how much they learned from it. And
That's what it's about. And I think one thing I will say really quickly too, because I'm sure this is going to be a question, but we're working on making this embodied yogi count as continued education. So if you are a teacher listening to this and that's something that if you think it's something you're interested in or you're teetering on, we're working on it becoming continued ed. So stay posted for that as well, because that's important as we're talking about living this and continuing to grow and being a forever student. As teachers, that is something. As if you were a nurse, you also have to have continued education. Same with teaching yoga if you are
yes,
with under Yoga Alliance.
it
So I
is.
just wanted to throw that in there real
As a
quick.
baby yoga teacher, it was one of the best pieces of advice that I got was like never stop being a student, never stop practicing yourself. Like if you do, like students will notice, like your teaching will suffer.
Yeah.
And not to be negative, like you can just have a 200 hour and go out there and be completely fine, but like never stop being a student of the practice. Like if you're not practicing these concepts yourself, like how are you going out there and leading other people? So it's like it's something to think about, and it is what sets it apart from like your aerobics class. Like
Mm-hmm.
it it's just it's different.
It is different. And I mean, no shade.
No,
No.
but like look
If
at that. It's something to
Yeah,
look at.
yeah. We're just here holding up a mirror
Yeah.
and you can take it or leave it. That's the thing. Like, if, but I think that this is an offering that I'm so excited to just bring into the world, like birth this baby. It feels like a baby.
It does feel like a baby, doesn't it? This
No, it really
honestly,
does.
like nearly enlightened kind of like has been my baby, and just seeing how the podcast is growing, and
Oh,
it's incredible. It's like, I just came up on 5 years of really like focusing on this and like leaving a steady job and pursuing this, and it's scary sometimes. Like being an entrepreneur is a wild ride, and I
very.
I see how I can use the yoga practices in being an entrepreneur and just like not taking things personally and just constantly like you said, holding up that mirror, reflecting. And I think like the last 2 weeks I have been a little bit more quiet on here, but everything is still growing. Like I told you, in the last 3 days, the podcast has had over 300 downloads, and that is so insane to me.
Huge.
I literally thought it was a glitch. I thought there was like something wrong with the app that I use that I get my analytics from. I was on the computer so late last night, like, no, this has to be a mistake. But I'm in this integration period, like post challenge, and just like observing, looking. I think I'm in an integration period in my life. Like, this is the last few days as a 33-year-old before I step
Yeah, I was
into
gonna
34.
say. So we're celebrating you for finishing the challenge, for having, gaining this momentum with your podcast. And what's the actual date? The 14th, right?
The
Or
14th
15th.
is my birthday. Yeah,
So
Saturday.
if you're listening, don't forget, reach out and just give Chi a happy
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. I
So
think this is
last
going to go up on Tuesday. but
Oh, okay. Well, you better
but
have
you can
said happy birthday.
you can wish me. Yeah, I
You can
celebrate all month long. It's fine.
So I just, as your friend, as your, I don't know, colleague, I guess you could say, I'm celebrating you because I think both of us too, like I think that's like how we found each other was like I had just started my business in Panama, just opened up a yoga studio and all this stuff. And then now look at us.
I know.
Look at
And
us
those were
go.
COVID times. Like I was literally just showing up online talking about this. Like everyone's bored. It's 2020. We're all sitting at home, like not knowing what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Teaching
And
online. I
yeah,
was like pregnant, teaching online. Like it was wild times,
It
but
was wild.
now we're here. We had to go through all of that.
Yeah. And I had 0 people listening to the podcast at that time. And
I had one. I was listening. And that's probably why I'm here today.
oh, I love that. I appreciate and thank you for all of your support and just like showing up and also helping Nearly Enlightened to become what it has become. And so I'm super excited to do this 12-week mentorship with you and to lead people through. And I'm excited for people to sign up. And even if you're not a teacher, like I promise you, this is going to ripple out into your life. Like this book that I've talked about in the past, I think I talked about it with Crystal Serrato, and I've talked about it with Michaela when she was on the podcast. But there was a book that really changed my perspective on things. And it's a fictional book. So it's called How Yoga Works. And I loved it. This woman yoga teacher in ancient times like went to this village and she had an original copy of the Yoga Sutras. And so the police chief there was like, well, you must have stolen this because nobody would give this to a woman. And threw her in jail. And he was like, well, if you're really a yoga teacher, then teach me yoga. And if you successfully teach me yoga, then I will let you go free. And she taught the police chief yoga, and it rippled out and had an effect on the entire village and changed the village forever and changed the way that the village was run. And she talks about it. It's like planting a seed. So you're like planting the seed and you're letting it grow and flourish. And it's such a great story. So if you're interested in like yogic concepts and you're a reader, like that's a really great book to just highlight the practice beyond the asana and how like you use the asana as we've talked about on this podcast as the gateway in. And then we like introduce all of these other amazing concepts that really are, it literally is the guidebook to life. Like you want to make your life a little bit more stress-free, a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more embodied, like practice yoga. And it doesn't mean you have to get on your mat.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to be serious. You can have fun with it. And I, like some of the reels we did and stuff, like I was like, I need to do something funny today. Or like
Your
whatever,
reels with the Theo Vaughn
I love
audios were so funny. They were so relatable, so perfect. Like if you want, you could just literally scroll through our posts from the last like 30 days or so and kind of get a taste of what the challenge was.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, because it doesn't need to be serious. You can make it your own, It's different for everyone. And that's why it was so beautiful to see and to share, even like with you. I was like, oh, what you gonna post today? Like, it was really fun. So I think that, even in this mentorship container, creating community and having it be this like lifting each other up, especially right now, the collective, like we need that. So if you are at all interested, I would highly recommend getting on the waiting list and reach out to us.
I will put the link to the wait list in the show notes. So if you're curious, you can pop in there and it's 0 commitment. Like you can sign up for the wait list and then just like see what comes up.
Yeah.
And that's a great place to wrap. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I think we covered
we literally covered everything.
We covered coffee beans to Bethany Frankel to the Embodied Yogi. And here we are, I think.
We've landed back.
We're coming back down to earth. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And thank you all for listening. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Nearly Enlightened podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, I would love it if you would share it, leave a review, or reach out and let me know your thoughts. And if you're looking for more ways to deepen your connection to body, mind, and spirit, check out the Meditate to Elevate guided meditation portal or visit nearlyenlightened.com for more resources. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and remember the answers already lie within.